Hey, what's up? This is Václav. This video is about this new Home Assistant Zigbee or Thread Coordinator ZBT2. It's a great device, robust, very well built, with a great antenna and lots of power. So I'm really looking forward to have it. At the same time, I feel quite nervous about the migration, especially after my introduction to a similar device for Z-Wave. That one was supposed to be a one-button push operation, but it turned out to be quite complicated at the end. And I get it from your comments that most of the people had quite a smooth ride and they didn't understand what was my issue. And I have a similar mixed feeling about this one. It's a great device. It's meant to be seamless, one-button push operation. On the other hand, my Zigbee network has been a test ground. I have been testing different Zigbee coordinators like on a production line. If I count well, this is my 6th migration. But more importantly, this antenna works best with the Home Assistant's native Zigbee integration, the ZHA. But I'm running Zigbee to MQTT, and I'll explain why. And my Zigbee devices currently work reliably. So here I'm again fixing something that is not broken. So I feel a bit like in the morning before visiting the dentist. I don't know what's coming. I'm a bit scared, but I know that if I go through it, both my Z-Wave and Zigbee will be in the best shape for a long time. So it'll be a good starting position for 2026. To keep it interesting, in the second part of this video, let's do something different. My friend has rather a large property. There are multiple buildings, some of them with stone walls, and some devices are even in the garden. And he has lots of Zigbee devices. At one point he has close to 300, and he's been fighting problems for a long time. He's quite desperate now. His Zigbee network is failing, and it's quite a problem for him since he lives in a rather cold part of the country, and his heating, among other things, is also controlled by Zigbee. And he has more ambitious plans for energy management and security. But first, he needs to get the foundations fixed, and he heavily relies on Zigbee. So the plan is to migrate my home first, to learn and fine-tune the migration process, and then repeat this on this property. Hopefully show you how this antenna handles a rather large network. So let's get started. Right, so this is the documentation for Home Assistant Connect ZBT-2. Let's check out how to migrate our current Zigbee network to the new adapter. There is a section getting started in here. There are a couple of options. First, forming new Zigbee network with Home Assistant Connect ZBT2. So this is our last option. If we can't migrate, we will start from scratch. Let's try to avoid that. There's also switching from Thread to Zigbee. This is not what we want to do because the antenna supports both Thread and Zigbee, but we're talking about Zigbee today. And then there are 3 remaining options. First is migrating an existing Zigbee Home Assistant or ZHA network to Home Assistant Connect ZBT2. So this is the easiest, most straightforward option, and I'll get back to that. That'll be great, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of videos pointing that it's pretty much automated. You just one click and it's migrated. That's a dream. Unfortunately, if you watch my videos, you know that I ran Home Assistant for quite a long time, and I made some decisions in the past that tend to complicate things. So I ran Zigbee to MQTT. So we'll have to migrate from Zigbee to MQTT. And for that, I have 2 options. There is migrate Zigbee to MQTT network to Home Assistant using ZHA. So basically they recommend to first migrate the existing old adapter to ZHA and then pretty much switch back to the first option. The other option is migrate from a backup file. So what you could do is if you are in the, let me go to Home Assistant, in the Zigbee to MQTT. In settings, tools, you can request backup. You can download a file. I did that just to have it as a backup. And you can use that, but they're using ZHA with that. So this is actually worse than the second option. So they have two options for Zigbee to MQTT, and both are actually migrating Zigbee to MQTT into ZHA. These are only two supported options for Z2M or Zigbee to MQTT. Both are to migrate to ZHA. They do not support or they do not document migration within the Zigbee to MQTT. In the Nabu-Casa support page, this is not supported. That's unfortunate. The difference, or the reason why I have Zigbee to MQTT, the biggest difference between the two, if I get it right, is the ZHA is strictly following the Zigbee standards. So this is what they believe in. So basically they take the Zigbee standard and they implement it in ZHA. But if the device is not based purely on Zigbee standards, if it relies on some device-specific code handlers, which might be common for some cheap Tuya or even Akara devices, it will not work in Home Assistant. The device might be discovered, but it'll be unsupported. It won't do anything. It'll be empty. Zigbee to MQTT is slightly different. They took different approach. They are much more flexible. They support different individual devices. So they have a profile for each device, and if the device doesn't comply with the Zigbee standard, if someone actually writes a profile for that device, the device is supported. Which is the reason why I'm using Zigbee to MQTT, because some of the devices I have, they are not strictly based on Zigbee standard. So I'm stuck with Zigbee to MQTT. It looks like we will have to go to ZHA. We'll see what it'll mean for some of the devices. We'll see. There is other option though. If I go to the Zigbee to MQTT documentation itself, they actually have a page about migrating from one adapter to the other. So they support migration. But if you read through it, it's not very straightforward. There are different types of adapters. So there is Z-Stack, there is Ember. So the Z-Stack is Texas Instruments. I think that's the one I have, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. So if I look at, I use a Z-Stack. Yeah, my adapter is Z-Stack because it's this SLZB06P10. So it's Texas Instrument. And if I am not mistaken, the Nabu-Casa is Ember. So those two are supported. And for the other adapters, Conbi, EZSP, ZBoss, and Zgate, the backup and restore is not supported, and they say there might be some other method available. So this is supported. However, they say that switching from Z-Stack to Ember or Ember to Z-Stack, you might not need to repair them, but the results might vary because it's not officially supported. So if you switch, you might not get all the devices and all the features. And my experience with Zigbee is usually it works worse than documented. So if they say it's not supported, I think if it works, it'll be a very nice surprise for me. So I take it. I'm not very optimistic in this area with Zigbee. For that reason, I will probably play it safe and I will try to use one of these supported options, and I will go with this one. Migrate Zigbee to MQTT to Home Assistant using ZHA. Let's do that. So first, migrate Zigbee to MQTT to ZHA using the old adapter. So we have the old adapter plugged in. Stop the Zigbee to MQTT add-on. Select stop. Let's do that. So add-ons, Zigbee to MQTT. I have done a backup, so let's just disable watchdog, start, and stop it. Let's see. Stopping. Take some time. In the meantime, remove Zigbee to MQTT devices. If you don't use MQTT outside of Zigbee to MQTT, you can delete the whole MQTT integration. I'm afraid we do have 3 or 4 devices outside of Zigbee to MQTT that use MQTT as well. So we'll have to go through the other option, which is go through the devices one by one. In the integration card, select devices, and under device info, select delete, and repeat for every single device. So we'll have to do that. Well, there's probably no other way. So let's do that. Devices, MQTT. So we have 45 devices, almost 500 entities. We have 3 or 4 that are not Zigbee to MQTT, but the rest is what it is. Let me see if we can try some other ways. There is devices. Let me see if I can filter based on integration. MQTT. Is there a way to select all of those devices except the ones I don't want and then delete? I can delete devices from here. It's gonna be probably simpler. Is there a way to manufacture model? Oh, that's probably the best we can do. So I can unselect the ones which are not coming from there. So that, and this, and the rest, door, this, that. Let me just check one by one. Bear with me. We have a backup in the worst case. Suppose this is it. This is Zigbee to MQTT. Okay, fair enough. This is I still have the old Z stick before I migrated to the one I use now. I think those 5. The rest I can delete. Delete selected. Let's see. All right. So I think it was easier than going one by one. Let's check it out. 5 devices only. So those 5 remained. So devices are deleted. Done. Next. Make sure your old adapter is still plugged in. Yes, it is. And then we need to add ZHA integration. So it discovered the ZHA actually. So I will just edit. Do you want to set up? Yes. And here I think it's advanced. Let me check. Submit advanced. Keep adapter network settings. Okay. Advanced. Keep adapter network settings. Loading. Next step. As you can see, there's already 47. Spook has identified 47 issues I need to fix. So let's hope some of them are gonna disappear. So good news and bad news. Zigbee home automation, it's been created but failed to set up. Network setting do not match most recent backup. Don't know what it is about. I didn't say I want to do it from backup, so I don't know what it is about. So the keep adapter network setting didn't work. Let me try plan B. Restore an automatic backup. This will let you change your network settings. So this is not documented at all. But what I have is I have a manual backup. So I have coordinator backup JSON file that I have created on the Zigbee to MQTT. So I'm gonna click on that, and I'm gonna drop the file here. So I'm going to check on my other screen. Coordinator backup JSON. Submit. ZHA is successfully migrated. Give it a few minutes. You have as many minutes as you want. Close. But I'm not really helpful because it says fail to set up. Network setting do not match. Shall I wait? This doesn't look... Failed to set up. So it's not that... I don't think the network is going to wake up because it's failed to set up. Wait, I've find something interesting here. So I was looking at all of those issues. Most of them are coming from the spook, basically saying that all the different entities are not existing. But there is one coming from ZHA saying that Zigbee network settings have changed. Zigbee adapter network settings are inconsistent with the most recent network backup. Usually happens if another Zigbee integration, Zigbee to MQTT or decons have overwritten them. interesting. So let me add-ons. Zigbee to MQTT is stopped, so it's not running, so it shouldn't override them. Anyway, they say if you didn't intentionally change your network settings, restore from the most recent backup. Your device will not work otherwise. Restore backup recommended. I didn't change the settings, so let's just try that and pray. It's taking a long time. Don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing. Suppose it's a good thing. Before it was quicker and didn't work right away. And I have, I suppose, good news. I don't know. We will see. It's a success. The issue is repaired. Finish. If I go to Device and Services, Zigbee Home Automation, I have 30 devices. They seem to be running. I will still have to rename them, which means that I will have to figure out which one is which, because from those names, when you pair the devices, you know which one you're pairing, but now I have like a bunch of devices and I don't know which one is which. So in case of lights, I guess I will have to turn them on and off and see which light turns on. But anyway, so I have those. Looks like we are on ZHA, so this is good news. It worked. I have those missing entities, and I have those devices that I would have to manually rename. So I'm gonna carry on, and I'll get back when this is done, and we're gonna continue with the migration. Wish me luck. Now, it's been a couple of hours, and I have restarted the Zigbee. I have even powered off and on the different routers and devices. If I look at the network, it looks like the coordinator is up, but all the devices are offline. If I look at all the different devices, coming back in here, the devices, they are unavailable, and I'm checking all of them, just unavailable. So none of them is available. So it looks like my network is not working. I see the coordinator, but the rest of it, it's just not working. So I can delete all the devices and rejoin them, but before I do it, I'll try something else. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just delete the integration, and I'll try to restart the Zigbee to MQTT just to see if they come back. We'll see what happens. Right, so it looks like it's coming back, but it's failing to connect to the adapter. Configuration is not consistent with the adapter state backup. So I have the issue that with the PAN ID and network key is not consistent. So what I have done before, I think it's firing back. So I'm gonna go to System Backups, and I'm going to try to restore the whole Home Assistant with the add-ons, the Zigbee to MQTT, to where we were before. Let's see if it helps. Right, so I have restored the system back again. We're running on the old adapter. Zigbee to MQTT is running, so the backup still works. The old adapter still remembers all the devices. So we again back where we started, and I'm not gonna give up though. Let's try it one more time. I'm gonna go through settings. I'm going to add-ons, Zigbee to MQTT. I'm going to stop it. So it's stopped. Now I need to go to devices, and I need to select integrations, MQTT, select all of them except the ones which are not integrated through Zigbee to MQTT. So I think I have some of those. Sounds about right. So I'm going to delete them again. Then devices, add, keep adapter network settings, create configuration. We have the same issue, so it's repeatable. There is something wrong with my Zigbee network. Now there is this message in here. Now before I did restore backup, what I could do is I will try this second one. I didn't really change the settings, but let's just go for it. Keep the new settings. I didn't try it before, so let's just go for it. Issues repaired, devices, ZHA, we have all of those devices. And let's give it some time to see if those devices are going to start coming up. Right, so we are progressing. I think it's first time in this video we're making some progress. If I look in here in the visualization, the devices are coming back, the blue ones, these are the routers, so this is a good thing. The device names or entity IDs, they were not maintained, so I would have to figure out which device is which and find them and rename them to what it was before. So, but we knew it. So, and some of the other ones, they will hopefully be coming up. These are the battery powered devices. They will either be coming later because they don't communicate as frequently, or I might even go to them and push a button on them or something. So this is what I'm gonna keep doing. Suppose there is let me see, let's take one example. How am I gonna do that? I have a Sonoff Mini, so this one is off. So I'm going to turn it on and go and check in the room whether the light has turned off, which I think I know which one it is. Yes, so I found it. It's the one in the entrance. So I'm gonna turn the light off and I'm gonna rename it. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna call it in the area. It's gonna be on the ground floor there, update. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recreate entity IDs, update. So that should decrease, hopefully, and there you go. It decreased the amount of entities found by spooks. So this should be light entrance. So that worked. So this is one, and I will now have to do the same thing for all the others. So let me do it and I'll get back when this is done. Right, so I'm done rediscovering the network. It was kind of a lengthy and boring process for lights and smart sockets, smart outlets. It was mainly about turning them on and off and going through the house and checking which lights just went on and off. For lights it's easy, you can see it. For smart outlets, it's not so obvious. And for some other devices like door sensors or motion sensors, the easiest way was to let them rediscover, let them rejoin the network, and as part of it, give them a name, so they will replace the old device with the proper name. So I was pretty much half of the network I was manually rejoining anyway. Well, the good thing is some of the smart sockets that are inside walls or behind some cupboards, I didn't have to do it because I could hear the relay going on and off. So at least I didn't have to do that. But unfortunately, it confirmed what I was fearing, that I have a couple of devices, about 6 or 7 devices that just do not work in Zigbee Home Assistant. Those devices, these are smart power meters, and if you look at those, they do not have any power or energy entities in ZHA. They just have unknown firmware, LQI and RSSI, but they do not have any entities for the power. So I guess, and they worked fine in Zigbee to MQTT. This was one of the reasons why I had them. And more importantly, I also have floor heating thermostat. So it should have a climate entity, and this climate entity is just not showing up. So I've tried to rediscover it. I don't know if climate is supported in Zigbee Home Assistant, or perhaps the device doesn't comply with the Zigbee standard. But I will probably have no other way than just going to Zigbee to MQTT again, because a big part of my devices that are important, like heating, they do not work in ZHA, unfortunately. So that's the reason why I use Zigbee to MQTT. And this is also the reason why the migration is a little bit more complicated. If I was on ZHA, the migration would be very simple. I would just now push the button, migrate adapter. It will move to the new adapter, and everything will be very easy. In fact, let's just do it. So my thinking is I have all the devices in ZHA in the old coordinator. So if I migrate the network to the new coordinator and then I stop ZHA and start Zigbee to MQTT, it might remember the network and I might not need to rediscover all the devices. Let's see. So I have plugged in the new adapter, migrate, then migrate to a new adapter, and it's gonna be the ZBT2, not the Z-Wave, but ZBT2 submit, and I suppose migrate automatically. So it says the migration has been successful. So if you are running ZHA, this is as simple as it gets. It'll be a very short video. Unfortunately, we'll have to go back to Zigbee to MQTT. Now it says through alt address the new one, give your Zigbee network a few minutes to stabilize. If you no longer need the old adapter, you can now unplug it. So I'm gonna go and unplug the old adapter, but I suppose the Zigbee network is now running with the new adapter. So I don't know why it still calls the SLZB. Maybe it's just the name. Maybe I can just rename it. I will unplug the old one and we will see if it still keeps running. So I have unplugged the old adapter, the network. It says it's Home Assistant Connect ZBT-2, and you can see that the devices are connected in there, and I can control them. I can turn them on and off. Let me see. I'm gonna turn this one off. I should hear it clicking. Yep, I hear it clicking in the next room. So the Zigbee has been migrated using ZHA. Unfortunately, I do have the issue with the floor heating mainly. I may try to reconfigure it, but I'm afraid it is what it is. So what we'll need to do is I will need to now stop the ZHA, and I will need to try to add this device into the Zigbee to MQTT. So let's just do that. So this is the port. I can copy it from here. This is the speed. So let me just now disable this one, and I'm gonna go to the add-ons, Zigbee to MQTT, configuration serial. Now I'm going to add this port, this baud rate, and it was Ember. Save it, and let's try to start it. And we seem to have a similar issue we had before, even though it's slightly different. It says that current backup file is not for Ember network stack. So I might need to delete the files and start from scratch. So what I will need to do is I will need to, I'm afraid, remove coordinator backup JSON and database DT if it exists. Unfortunately, coordinator backup and database DB. So we have this coordinator backup, delete. There's an old, we'll delete it as well. And do I have the database? I don't have that. There is a backup only. So this is deleted. So now I will go back to the add-ons, Zigbee to MQTT, and I can start it now. And it's started, and I'm getting messages from the network. So let's just open the web UI, and there are no devices. That's what I expected. So I will have to rejoin all the devices and rebuild the network. So for me, there is no migration path for this device. I will have to basically start from scratch. I could have probably saved the whole time for the video. This is where I could have started, just plugged it in and start from scratch. I wanted to try if there is a migration path. As you saw, I have tried many things, and I admit often I maybe didn't know what I'm doing, but looks like there is no migration path. If I would have ZHA, it would have been easier, but as you saw, I cannot use ZHA for the reasons you saw. So unfortunately, I will have to rebuild my whole Zigbee to MQTT network. Right, so we are done. I had to push the button on each of the devices to rejoin the network. The good news is that the devices, or most of the devices, remembered their names and all the entity IDs set up within Home Assistant. So I didn't have to rename them. I didn't have to find which device is which is actually, it wasn't that bad. It went rather quickly. I just went device by device and pushed the button. I had a few of those which were inside a socket, inside a wall, but there were like 2 or 3 of those. So we are back in business. This is how the network looks like right now. So everything seems to be working quite well. So far, it doesn't look like there are any issues, so it didn't make things worse. Whether it makes them better, it's hard to say, because in my house, I didn't really have any Zigbee problems previously, except the issues during the migration. There was probably something wrong with my Zigbee setup, so perhaps this could be fixed, but we wouldn't know until we would attempt to migrate again, which I'm not really looking forward to. So I hope this is gonna be running for next couple of years. Now I have one more instance that we'll be addressing in this video. There the situation is much different. There are serious issues with a Zigbee network. It's unstable. The devices are, the Zigbee is stopping running after some times. Devices are popping out. It's very large property with a lot of different separate building, kind of campus orientation. So let's look at this one, because this one might be more interesting. So this is now completed. Now let's go to this bigger project. It's a large mesh with a number of dedicated routers. In general, you want to have a router in each room, each serving roughly 5 to 10 devices. Router can be a dedicated Zigbee router, or more often it's a grid-powered Zigbee device, such as a smart outlet or bulb. The issue he has is the Zigbee coordinator stops responding to Zigbee to MQTT. When he restarts it, it will start working again, but gradually the updates and response times from the devices will be slowing down. When he pushes a button, it will take a couple of seconds before the device will react, until finally it will stop responding completely, and Zigbee to MQTT will stop after 2 or 3 days typically. This is the error he's typically getting. Again, they have been trying different things to identify the root cause, a lot of changes and testing. There's multiple versions. So after a brief attempt to migrate the adapter, we have agreed to scrap and delete the whole configuration and start with the fresh Zigbee to MQTT from scratch. So I added the coordinator path to the Zigbee to MQTT configuration, configured the type to Ember and the baud rate, and I started the add-on. It started, and there are no devices. We have erased the whole configuration. So we'll permit joining the network, and I will run around the property and push the buttons and start adding them one by one. It's a tedious process, as it doesn't remember the device names, unlike in my case where we didn't erase the configuration. But my friend went through that multiple times already, so it's rather a routine exercise for him. So one by one, he added all the devices, starting with the routers. And during 1 week, most of the devices were added. And the network is holding. And this is how it looks after 1 week. So both migrations were not such a seamless experience, but this is what we expected. So I hope you appreciate to see that not everything is such a smooth ride as you might think after watching some of the promotional videos on the YouTube. But the main message is with persistency and a bit of problem solving skills combined with some Googling and a bit of luck, everything was great at the end. And I'll leave you with that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.